Good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu Channels, My Point of View. It is a Saturday, 30th of December 2023. Apparently, it's the last Saturday in the year 2023, and it's a lovely evening. And compliments of the season to each and every one of you watching Ubuntu Channel right about now. And we greatly appreciate because you've been with us throughout the year 2023. This program called My Point of View. My name is Chaza, right here to host it. And right on the panel to join me is Mr. Mukelevai to actually get to react to the stories that we do have tonight. And those of you following through Facebook or YouTube channel, you are actually welcome to join us on set by making a comment right in the comment section, or you can click on the link and get to join us right on set. Mr. Mukelevai, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Chaza. Welcome. Good to see you. I hope this will be the last Saturday in 2023, and we are looking forward to enter 2024. So at least we just want to say thank you. This 2023 has been a wonderful year and a lot of turbulences, but we managed to end the year okay. We are healthy. We thank God. He's protected us. At least people have not died of hunger. People have not died of economical hardships. At least we are getting somewhere. We are just looking forward to next year and see what will happen.
Definitely, and we do hope that the new year will come with its own newness and goodness. We are looking forward to it. Without much ado, let's take a look at the first story right here, and we'll be back right after this story.
Cholera has continued to claim lives, with 5 in the last 24 hours. Among the people who have died from cholera in the last 24 hours is a 1-year-old child that was a brought-in dead case in Matero.
I'm sad to inform you that in the last 24 hours, we've recorded 111 new cases across the country. Currently, across the country, we have 207 patients admitted at different cholera treatment centers.
To arrest and prevent a further spread of cholera, government has banned street vending.
Because there is arbitrary disposal of the remains of street vending, especially of fresh foods, we are going to reinforce the statutory instrument number 18 of 2018 that basically criminalizes the issue of indiscriminate disposal of waste, and also which pronounced vending as a public nuisance. The flip side of this statutory instrument number 18 also does criminalize those who buy from vendors.
During an interministerial briefing on cholera, Water Development and Sanitation Minister Mike Mposha said government has set up water tanks around unserviced areas to provide water.
We have planned to empty 20,000 pit latrines in peri-urban areas of Lusaka. Further, we have intensified preventive maintenance and prompt response to sewer blockages. We have equipped a number of unproductive boreholes to increase water supply in Lusaka. This is in areas such as Chibelo, Nisa, Jack Lima, Linda, and Kabanana boreholes, among others.
Lusaka province is the worst hit by cholera.
We would like to urge our people most sincerely to change their habits in terms of hygiene, something that has been mentioned time and again, looking at the type of disease that cholera is. It's hinges on hygiene issues.
Cholera cases have been recorded in 12 districts in eastern, central, and northern provinces. Mary
There we have it. Right in Lusaka City, we have, a dominance of the disease called cholera, which is very unfortunate, and lives, have so far been lost. And our prayer is that, those that are having this disease may get to survive. And our advice is actually to observe all the rules that we have been guided with by the Ministry of Health. Mr. Mkelebai, your reaction?
Thank you so much, Chaza. It is quite sad. May the soul of those people that we have lost out of cholera, a preventable disease, that we knew actually that cholera was coming, and we have put our young, old, and fellow Zambians' lives at risk, despite several warnings, despite politicking on the aspect of health. I just want to send my sincere condolences to the bereaved family and to those affected, and those who are currently are suffering from the same disease. And this is where this us Zambians, sometimes we need to take life seriously. Not until your own family of your own, or your own children, or your own family member has contracted this preventable disease and die of it. That's when probably we are going to feel the pain. I don't understand why we still go back to the same problem over and over every year that comes. Whenever we have a rain season, we are experiencing these diseases. Meanwhile, we see people buying expensive properties, or they have enough money to prevent, actually, to secure our cities, to secure our compounds from contracting these diseases. But we choose to ignore, because it seems to be we don't care, and we feel like those who are going to catch cholera, we even stereotype them or demonize them and claim they are unlucky, and maybe we even bring in the issue of God, that it's a punishment from God, that they are being punished for contracting cholera or for suffering from preventable. By the way, it's preventable. Cholera is preventable, and the authorities should actually be ashamed of themselves, because they ought to have done this before. And those who are trying to play down this cholera issue, to be ashamed of themselves, because we heard so many people criticizing when the local government took that exercise of removing vendors out of the street vendors out of the street, all in the name of trying to curb these diseases. Our citizens are going to die. We are losing lives. We just lost lives from another preventable issue, yakumain kuja, but again, we don't take serious measures, we don't put serious precautions, we just let it, because those who are involved are not part of our families, are not part of us. We are going to just come out into the media and send our condolences and then continue going by our lives. I wish those family members could sue the people responsible. Probably that's when we are going to wake up to say anyone that dies of cholera, the community, starting from the local authority, the local authorities, up to the central government, they need to compensate to those people who are dying out of cholera that is preventable, because they ought to have secured. We are paying a lot of money through taxes. We have the government that has enough money, that has the capacity to control, to put serious measures, instead of concentrating to doing things that are, we are living as criminals, stealing and everything. We don't want to protect, to prevent our innocent people's lives. These are the voters. These are the future, and we are losing them. So I know it takes two to tango. Our citizens also should be taught, or should be aware that their lives matters. They should know how to protect and prevent themselves from dying of preventable diseases. You know what to eat, you clean your surroundings, you clean you have built houses that are floating that are in water. The drainage systems are entirely blocked. When it's summertime or it's not rain season time, we ignore these things. We go out and start politicking. We don't protect, or rather make proper drainage systems, and we wait until the rain comes, and then we start complaining kuti boma iyanganepo. Meanwhile, vana vatu ndiye vamene vamwalira. Ise veve vamumayadi bali muboma vafola ma 40 pin, ma 19, ma 17 pin. Imwe mulinkezi vana vanu vabwera omwalira, mukango pyanga, mukango unblocking the sewer systems. I mean, tizasila. We are going to finish. We are going to die, all of us, from preventable diseases. And who should we point a finger at? It's ourselves. We are killing innocent souls that have no idea. And it's so sad to hear mwana mungono and chita contract cholera. Mino wakuru they are everywhere. And you have a degree, machani, you are educated. So it's a very sad situation that we are still going to talk about this. I know that even next year, we are going to talk about preventable diseases, the same cholera thing. We are going to have people dying. We know that come next year to this time around, we are going to lose a quite number of people again. And we are not doing anything. Viva voce. That's what we are good at, and complaining. And let's do some action. So I think we should really, really try to consider that lives, every life, losing one life is too much. We don't need to lose any life on preventable diseases. Leken tulwale ama cancer. Leken tulwale ama diseases maybe the malaria. Now is preventable. We can prevent things that are maybe acts of God. Tufuwe kuma act of God. Not ama preventable diseases where we can afford by way of changing our mindset. Tuleseka uyu mulumendo uleenda mutauni ule chita announce abantu tole out paper bika muma bin, we demonize him, we insult him, and yet here we are. Bali kwisa bali abale tuka Simon mwe pakulanda tole na mapepa mbike munati. Where are they when people are dying? Zambian, we should learn to be serious. Let us practice what we preach. We call ourselves Christians, but look at what we are doing. We don't care about people dying. We don't care. For as long as, if we're not twikalamma aircon, not twikalamma yard, abalefwa bali mu street lwabolo, that's not okay. Then the society is dead. So let us practice what we preach. Let us do something during dry season. Let us invest money. Twalikwate mpia. Bena lungu bali shike mpia. They can anshikurule mpia shiria so that we can go and prevent these diseases. Natote.
Thank you so much. So, as a citizen, we do have that responsibility of keeping our surrounding clean. Then again, the government has got that responsibility of providing, clean water, because this disease is born from, contaminated water, and we have seen that people from the compounds are actually, drinking, water from shallow wells, which is actually the major source of this disease. So we have seen that the government has also taken those steps of burying those shallow wells and giving the people water through provision of boreholes and so on and so forth, including water bowsers, which is a part on the back of the government. And we hope that this will actually continue in the areas that is prone and affected by this disease. This is Ubuntu Channel, and you are following and watching My Point of View. Let's take a look at the next story, and we see you right after that story.
Plan for 2024. First, we'll continue unlocking rigidities. That's why I announced here, already that we've been able to conclude the Mopani transaction. Those were part of the lockups. KCM, very important for the Copper Belt, but also, Luanshya Mine. So we'll continue doing that. But mainly 2024 is to now open the economy, to close the debt restructuring. I'm sure you heard on Friday, the other Friday, at the press briefing. The things I said there, I repeat. It is to basically close the debt restructuring, to open up space for economic expansion. Economy, investments, projects for jobs, and more jobs, and business opportunities. So really 2024 is to open the economy.
There we have it, a promise there from the president that next year, 2024, will definitely be a bigger year because the economy is going to open up. Personally, I'm looking forward to seeing this in 2024. Mr. Mkelebai.
Well, we have heard it before, and we are still being told the same narrative, and we want to see action this time around. I know that this government hasn't really thrived the way they ought to have performed throughout these past 3 years. It hasn't been easy. The economy has not really done so much well. There has been a lot of struggle, and we know the reasons, the external factors, the internal domestic factors. And we really hope that this time around, we are going to see results, and we are going to see those blockages that the president spoke about are open, are unblocked, and we want to see the economy growing. We don't want to hear a kwacha costing kwacha to dollar going so high at 20, 25 or 26. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear something positive happening And if we can borrow Mr. Hakainde's words, that when you see the inflation going up, and then there's something wrong with the management, so he has to look at these videos that he was he discussed previously, and that's why people are using his words against what is currently going on. So should we point a finger at you as a person that is in charge, that is failing to unblock these economical challenges and to put this country forward, because you had promised? Remember that we brought you in power on the premises that you are going to fix most of these problems that we have because of your expertise, because of your intellectuality, because of your experience in your private sector. We expect you, Mr. President, to unblock all these rigidities that we are facing in the country today. We have not seen much when it came to the issue of fighting corruption. The people that actually had put this economy in ICU, we have not seen any sort of punishment so far that has been slapped on them, despite us having heard few individuals being probed or being taken to court whose properties have been seized. And we haven't yet heard on the progress, because those, when you are talking about opening up, we want to see also that people that suffered, that enjoyed, or that put this economy in this state where it is, should also not be scot-free. We see them coming back and start demonizing you who is fighting for corruption and who's trying to control the economy. We still see them coming back and even point now a finger, reversing psychology, that they are now pointing at you as a person that has caused all these economical hardship that we have today. And they are connecting to your incompetence, even when you or you claim to be an economist or an expert. So it is confusing to many Zambians. We want to see something positive. Yes, you promised, you gave a lot of information out there, and we as Zambian, we have much hope and trust that we are going to see a lot of change, and we see some laws being legislated. We see that you are doing at least something within your power, but we feel that you are not doing enough. We are not doing enough, especially on the fight of corruption. We see some of your ministers are also more like involved in these illicit activities that make your claims to be a little bit difficult to support now, because we still see that the message that you are giving to the people, the reason why we voted you into power, we still see now that most of your men or your people in your camp are doing the opposite, the things that they were condemning, and today they are involved in these activities. So we are wondering, are you the same? Because this is what we avoided. And then we still see the trends of certain individual within your power, under your nose, you who blamed, who condemned. So now we are wondering, is this the reason why some of these previous plunderers are still walking the street freely? That because you are failing, that you may be scared that you will be treated the same way because you're also doing something wrong? Or why are you failing to remove, for example, the immunity of Edgar Changwalungu, whom you have accused a lot, whom we are all pointing a finger at, that he is the reason behind the economical hardship? And we see the trends, we see the way he has acquired his wealth, within a shortest period of time. Why are you failing to lift his immunity? Why haven't you spoken about it? Now we are adding 1 + 1 to say probably when we see some of your ministers and your people in your cabinet are involved in some illicit activities or illegal activities, then we are wondering, are you covering up to avoid you also being prosecuted? So stop confusing the Zambian people. We want to put our eyes on our focus is on recovery of our economy, and we want to see results. Communicate to us. We should not be just talking about the same thing over and over. We should see action, just like the way we talked about cholera. We don't want to suffer cholera every day. We want to see results. It is time to work. We want to see results. And money keeps on coming into your pockets as Zambians are paying you, but we are not seeing what we are paying for. Today, monafie imibiri na ichinja, ama suit na ichinja, imiotoka na mshite imiotoka. You have changed completely. You have become comfortable. Have you forgotten about the things that you gave us, the Zambians? So we want to see results, or else we are going to start also coming out fully on your shoulders and draw a conclusion and start pushing so that you get out of the way and bring other people that we feel may bring some kind of sanity to our country. But for now, we still have hope that you are going to turn things around. Turn things around. Prosecution department should improve. The fight against corruption should improve. The economy, it's not just mining. The mining sector, yes, we understand. The mine alone cannot feed the whole nation. We have other sectors that are still not doing well. We need you to revamp all those things. That's why we brought you in. If the job is too much for you, you can't make it, say so. So we can simply find someone else that we feel can bring it. But for now, we are still hopeful. We still have our hopes. So please don't kill our hopes. That's my message.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mkeleba, for that reaction. And definitely, we want to see words put into action. And when that is done, I think every Zambian will be there smiling, probably including those that are criticizing everything. Upon seeing conclusive evidence of words materializing, they will have nothing to actually frown upon. Probably that is a reasonable man. A reasonable man is expected to appreciate.
Under New Dawn government, we are not supposed to be suffering the same preventable diseases that we suffered during PF administration. We don't want to suffer the same issues that we were in before we suffered before we brought them in. We need to find new problems. For example, let us talk about winter maize, or let us talk about something. We don't want to suffer more. That's why people are pointing a finger at this government to say, you promised, but what we see are the trends of the PF coming back. But when it comes to democratic dispensation of democracy, on that one, I can give them a plus, because on the rule of law, I think they are walking the talk. It's just that these guys, they feel that when they are arrested, when they break the law and they're arrested, they put it as though they are being persecuted. But it is not. It's the rule of law. They are breaking the law. So, but when it comes to the problems that people are suffering, are going through, this should not be the case under the New Dawn. We should have new drainage systems. We shouldn't have new diseases. Let's talk about not the same disease, cholera. yabwera futi muli ba New Dawn. Why? That is an issue that they should work on. We cannot be suffering of the same. That's why we remove the governments. We remove governments to bring in government that will not give us the same challenges that we are facing. So we want to face other new challenges. Let us face other new challenges in the future, not the same problems over and over and over. Then what are we doing? It's better country to quite a dictator, you know. And I'm not wishing for that. I'm not wishing for a dictator. So I'm really pretty sure that by UPND, you are going to do something different. Change the mindset of the Zambian people. Change everything. Let us suffer other new problems, not the problem that we suffered previously, and now they're even multiplying. We want new things, new dawn. You brought new dawn. It's a new dawn, not going back to the same thing. We want to suffer new problems. Let us talk about other things, not the same problem that we have had. We've been exposed to the same problems for the past how many years? 10 years, 20 years. We're still suffering the same. Meanwhile, we are changing. Government comes in and say, then what are you doing? You're just stealing our money then. So we want change. We want change. Change our people's lives. Change everything. Change the way we are building our houses. Change the drainage systems. Change everything. Provide water. Provide proper services. Those are things that we need to see today. We don't want to talk about the same problems over and over and over. It's like mwafyalo mwana mule mulisha tale kula mule kanyonsha mwakapera all this ukavika kumbali kama nokufyala umbi tefyo. So we need to do those things, you know. So about HH, we know what you're going through, but please, we want to see difference. The same traits, the same problems or toilets that faced previously. This time they are coming and multiplying our way. That would be a failure on your part, you know. So we want to see progress and results, not pakanwa, viva, voce. Talumba.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mkelebaya. And, you know, this reminds me of what is going on right in the street. And, you know, from the common man out there, they are saying things are not, you know, going on right. And no matter how, you know, the government may explain in technical terms as to why we are here and experiencing what we are experiencing, the common man is saying, we want food, we want, you know, things to be accessible, we want the economy, you know, to improve, we want fuel to be affordable, we want bread, meal, everything to be affordable. We can't understand these technicalities. For us, we want it, you know, simple as it can be. So then what you are saying is actually, you know, agreeing with what a common man out there is making of whatever we are going through. Okay, and Ruben Jeremy Mulungu is actually saying, great show, and he's saying he is watching the program. We greatly appreciate and compliments of the season to you. We do also have a contribution from Chibonta Jule, who is saying Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company and Lusaka City Council need to find a long-term solution to leaking sewer lines in Mandevu, Matero, and many other compounds. Thank you so much, and the message is actually clear because of such, you know, sewer leakages. Drinking water underground is, you know, being contaminated in terms of wells and also boreholes. We also have Lady M12 or Lady M12. It's very sad situation. Every rain season is the same story. Kumwesu. Okay, Lady M, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate, and indeed, we share the same pain. We need not to continue, you know, going through this same route year in, year out. There must be a solution that, the government should provide. This is Ubuntu channel, and you are watching and following my point of view. We are so far grateful for the reactions that you have concerning the topics that we do have at hand. And you may continue doing so even as regards the stories that we are yet to give to you right here. Let's proceed and take a look at the next story.
With the continued surge in cholera cases, the government is upscaling its response to contain the disease. Vice President Mutalina Lumango has visited the Kanyama Level 1 hospital, which is also being used as a cholera treatment center. The Vice President's tour comes after reports of high cholera cases in the area with limited spaces to admit patients. Mrs. Nalumango addressed the media shortly after the tour.
Generally, Lusaka, the numbers have increased, and therefore it calls for a lot of effort on everybody. They are working through the hospital staff, the medical staff. They are working through and through. Let me also appreciate the community, because I've seen volunteers from the community who are here to help, to alleviate the problems and the burden that the staff are going through.
Mrs. Nalumango also attributed the increase in cases to lack of maintenance of drainages.
To one rain pouring, the drainages are overflowing. It's not the rains. It's because we throw rubbish in the drainages. Surely, you are a Zambian. You know that throwing rubbish in the drainage will cause that to be blocked.
The Vice President also inspected some points where government is providing clean and safe water.
So that water can be found at different points. We talked of how many, 22 already. We are going to work on that. It's good to think about your friends, not just to
so tayami kila manzi matiletera ya clean because manzi maintenance okumu ya covered na manzi ya dot olokutapa chimozi mozi nakuswa tapachabe mrodi manzi ya dot so hapa ya manzi maleta tayami kila maninga president wa tapu ni maninga
ina affected na inachukua ni mkati na ile so manzi nikabila wanza uti affected so tipepa kuna tanki ya fendele kwa mkati uti nice to stay kwa
Mrs. Nalumango advised Zambians to seek early treatment when experiencing cholera symptoms.
The aftermath of Tuesday's heavy rains, floods in Namalombwe community of Chilanga district. This is now posing a risk for the further spread of cholera in the area, which is already recording cases of the disease. This is because residents in the area depend on shallow wells, which are now said to be contaminated because of the flooding. We are appealing to authorities to provide us with clean water.
We fear
the further spread of cholera because we depend on shallow wells. Namalombwe Ward Councillor Bright Sinazongwe says at least 13 shallow wells have been identified and will be buried.
Now, since we have, normally here we have floods, so now we are telling our community not to use shallow wells or we tell them to boil water for use in case they are using water. Even from the bores, they have to borrow since there is a lot of floods in our area. Currently, after going around the ward, we have identified 13 shallow wells, which as a local authority we have to bury as an intervention so that we stop the further spread of this disease.
He has added that his office will engage relevant authorities over provision of water using bowsers to residents.
We are trying to lobby with the DMMU so that they bring in the tanks so that they can be putting water in those areas like the way it has been done on the other side of the 7070 road. I've gone round again in like Coca-Cola, they have promised us to give us one borehole so that we can have safe drinking water.
Kasabula Mchimba, ZN.
there we have it, an emphasis, coming from, those stories as regards cholera, just like the other earlier clip that we looked at, and also the advice to the people, to undertake right in the compound so as to prevent this disease from even escalation. Mr. Mkelebai, any further reaction, as regards, this story, cholera, rain season, and so on and so forth?
It's quite disheartening, Chaza, to hear that in the 21st century, in the city, in our big city, the capital city, our people still getting water mufishima. I find it to be it's heartbreaking. It's better no kuya kumushi wa ikala kumushi aba kumushi ni kuisa mwa mfati badelo wala cholera. They are even much better. Those people living in villages in remote areas, unlike you people who are living in big cities, but then your lifestyle is just like a villager. Even much villagers, they are much better. People who are living in villages, they are happy, they are healthy, they eat nice food, fresh food, vegetables, they're fresh, everything, the water is clean. Olobale tapamenshi mufishima, at least amenshi yawe aliva clean. Takwa aba lumendo aba ichama street kids, ama street men and women, aba lenyela mumi follow, aba lechitashi, because those are the things, that are contamination that are going, that are going into those ifishima. And then you get the same water and you drink. And this issue of I don't care attitude by Zambia is saying to care, because prevention is better than cure. And this issue of being reactive, a reactive government or reactive people, that we only react when there is a problem. We should learn to prevent. We should learn to solve problems before they actually come to fruition. That's why we are dying. That's why we are failing to progress in our country. How can we progress like this? Where are the city planners? Where are the engineers that are planning our compounds? What is it that you are doing? These are the dangers of corruption. We are busy paying you money. A lot of you guys who are well-educated, town planners, look at what you have done to our cities. You have destroyed everything because you've gotten money and put in your pockets, and you allow people to do pante. At the end of the day, we are to blame. It is ourselves to blame. We cannot blame anyone. These are self-infliction wounds. So when we start suffering, we are innocent children that are being born innocent to people, to us who are supposed to be adults, who are supposed to protect and preserve lives, they are dying. Why? Because we are an irresponsible society. We have I don't care type, even though we claim to be Christians. We don't care about our neighbor's person who has died. We don't care. Why? Twalikwata sana jealous, twalikwata sana ububi mitima shesu shivi. And inga wamona sana abantu bale pepa sana. I have a problem with those people who are so much using the word God, 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 but look at the way they treat their neighbors. That's terrible. We are not supposed to suffer from these problems. Let's declare the Christian nation. Christian nation, you are killing your own people, for Christ's sake. Who does that? VX. Meanwhile, our neno. Kuma preventable disease, simple. We have Zambians who are millionaires out there. We have Zambians who have the capacity. They have money. Naboma ya kushala. But do you see them going to make the drainage system? No. Do you see the young girls who we see on social media showing I'm a VX, I'm a what? Do we see them going to save compound or people to? No. What do we see? social media, showing off, bling, show off, flashing. Why? You call yourself a Christian. Ngo wabwera ngashapwe mpya awelesa wamaka awelesa iwe imwe mwe Zambian. Nabu Kristo ture ipero wabu fi wapa menso, because we see the way you treat your own fellow. The way I'm not an exception. I'm part of Zambia. I'm a Zambian. The way we treat our fellow Zambians. Look at the way we are neglecting so many things. Uyo president wenu, the Republican president, the so-called 60th president, I'm gustendeke 300 million. Meno mulefwa abantu balefwa kukolera preventable. Indeke 300 million iwe. Who does that? And this goes over. The President Lungu Fieka. Everyone in Zambia does the same. We are a hypocritical society. If you are peshalesa, muleson temino ama gay people, gay this gay. No, Buffy. We are a bad people. We have a bad heart. We don't care about the future. Because today in the 21st century, to suffer from preventable diseases, meanwhile, we have multi-million dollars of investment and money in our coffers, and we are failing to help you people. Who does that? Ama Arabs have a Kalamum desert. Look at the way they've developed their city, their countries. Look how they care about each other. Not if we. Now, if when you work on family, nuclear family, that's all. That's what we think of. We don't care about other people. That's why you see there's a lot of developmental projects that are we still talk about them for 20, 40, 60 years to development, same thing. We should not live like that. Let us practice what we preach. That's why if we've been a Christianity number, we are now doubting maybe to change a fairy religion to Islam, because Muslims they show they care. When a Muslim person loved you and tells you, I care, I love you, I'll take good care of you, they do it with humility, with care and love, with passion. Not if you're a preacher, you are busy founding at you are a prophet, you are what? Meanwhile, look at what you're doing. It's so
okay, Mr. Mkelewai, the message is clear. I can see how passionate and emotional you've actually, become. I would advise you to take it easy. It's a festive season. Remember, we need to continue in the merry mood. Let's proceed.
It's painful. It's painful, boy. When valefwa. Muleipa ya abantu balefwa natukwata nama rules nama laws turefiro no kupanga ama rules nama laws ama bylaws nga bakusanga ulesundira punani bakwikata bakulipirisha 50 kwacha tirabare kitabasata. We can't even come up with such kind of preventive measures. The only thing we do is pakanwa. No, we'll see what we do. No, we're asking for people to come and help us. We're asking you, what are you doing yourselves? I'm a counselors, starting from the ward level to government. What are we doing? What laws have we done? But look at the same chaps who we have put in power to do those things, to alleviate us, to help us alleviate these problems. They have money. Now they are comfortable. That's what they were fighting for. What is that?
All right, Mr. Mkelewai. We do feel your pain, and the message is clear. What Mr. Mkelewai is saying is that on social media we see a lot of people flashing out and showing off that they are having a lot of resources and probably even excess, not knowing even where to take it. But why is it that we are not helping out the people that are suffering, in compounds as regards, this disease, cholera? So much that we can even donate some boreholes, clean water and so on and so forth, and save lives. This is our Ubuntu channel, and remember, this is my point of view. Let's go straight to the next story and back on the other side.
A gathering for one purpose, to commemorate the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation. President Hakainde Hichilema was the guest of honor at the commemorations and was accompanied by First Lady Mutinta.
Gawa umfa wite wa mfumu wasuke mchishi mchishi kalombo mane mwele satwa muchindika mane kalombo mane. God bless you all.
In his speech, President Hichilema emphasized the role of the church and government in ensuring that Zambia upholds its declaration as a Christian nation.
This government is committed and will work with the church, all the churches, work with political parties, work with civil society, work with individuals, families, chiefdoms, but as government will provide the lead to maintain Zambia a Christian nation. We should pass on this to those that will come after us, and it's their duty to carry on.
The president also called on Zambians to stand together and fight vices that may arise to threaten society's moral fiber.
And I am glad today that the country has reinforced that certain things are not African. Certain things are not Christian. It does not matter who has said them. I'm afraid they are not acceptable. And we must have the courage as a nation to stand together and say, to this we agree, but to that we disagree. I'm talking about LGTB and the likes. Shilefa ya kupita mumbali hiyo. Tatulefa kupita mumbali. Are we agreed as a nation that that direction is no? Tumona maboko, those who agree. So, instead of pointing fingers at each other, let us reinforce each other. Let us put the pieces of 20 million Zambians together and say no to this.
President Hichilema also had a word on how Zambians use social media platforms.
Christian nation does not connote insults, which we see on social media every day. Once we leave this service, open your phone, it's just a horde of insults. This one insulting this one and that group and kiss command. What's going on? It's a negation of what we're celebrating today. To insult each other, to be disrespectful to each other, through hatred, through divisions. I don't think so. It's a contradiction.
He also called on the church to help change the mindsets of Zambians.
When we use negative ways and we are corrected and the laws we set ourselves to moderate us are breached, then we say no. We are victims of political persecution. We know the difference. We know the difference. We all know the difference, but we want to ignore those differences. That this is not persecution, this is rule of law. As a servant of the people, I'm intrigued how the nation has created an inherent contradiction over a couple of years. What do I mean? Citizens want to live well, but they don't want to work.
It is exactly 32 years since former President Frederick Chiluba declared Zambia as a Christian nation. Ruth Chainda, ZNBC News.
There we have it. It's so exciting, to hear the president singing. I think it's the second time that I'm, hearing the president singing, and the way he's, using his bass, you can tell that he sang for quite a long time. Very exciting. And just like Janet Manjemela, who is following from, YouTube, she's saying our own president, HH. Yeah, thank you so much, Janet. It's good to know that you are right there following the program via YouTube. Not forgetting, Lady M12 or Lady M12, who is also following through YouTube, and she's saying, I hear you, Mr. Mkelebai, Ubusaka, Kukalipirapo. I feel the pain with you. Thank you so much. It's definitely a beautiful thing to know that you are right there following through YouTube. That's Lady M12 and Janet Manjemela. Let's get to hear your views as regards, this current story. And I've actually seen that exactly what Mr. Mkelebai was talking about in terms of, pretense and so on and so forth. And, in our actions, we get to, depict different from what we say in terms of our country being, the Christian nation. Mr. Mkelebai, your reaction once more.
Thank you, Chaza. My apologies if I was a little bit overwhelmed, awakened. I tend to sometimes speak passionately about unfairness and injustices. I sometimes even cry because it's so emotional, to hear our own people being persecuted and people are dying of simple diseases, and yet we are the so-called Christians. Here's the show where the Zambian president was singing, and everyone went to this one place commemorating, or rather jubilating, the issue of being a Christian nation. But are we living to the same standards? Listen to the things he said in the speech. There's so much hate, and I agree with him. There's so much division, and I agree with him. There's so much that the very people who are the custodian of the Bible, or rather holy, who are supposed to bring people together, they are the ones who are busy in the forefront dividing the nation. And I find it to be so it's sad. It's a sad nation. We have a beautiful country, my fellow Zambians. Zambia is beautiful in terms of peace, but the things we do to each other, Bane, it so stinks to high heaven, especially the poor people. We have neglected them for so many years. They can do things on their own. And we don't care. When they die, we don't care. And we go to church every day. We claim we are holy, we are okay. Look at the insults, the profanities being used among the so-called people that we trust, people that we look up to, the leaders, political leaders. The language we're using to each other, it's terrible. It's not okay. This is not the society that I feel sad that I come from the same society myself. We are blaming other people, homosexuals. Yes, we can blame them. This is the law. We gave our laws. We're following the Bible. Yes. But what do the gay people do? Do they kill people? The way we neglect our own people that are dying of preventable diseases like cholera. And then we want to be the champion of morality today and blame people of same sex who are just trying to show love to each other. They don't kill people. What they do is none of our business. They're human beings too. This is a society that used to kill Mwavi because you are born differently. You start killing the people because they're albinos. We kill them. Society. Until we realize, we say we are killing innocent souls. They're born that way. We are Christians that's supposed to love any person that comes in any form, including murderers, criminals. We have criminals in government. We have criminals in previous governments that have killed some. They were even scot-free. They were walking the street. Some are still walking the street. And yet we want to demonize other people that have chosen to live or that are born differently. And we want to invoke the Bible when we are killing other people. What are we talking about? That is the hypocrisy I was talking about. Yes, if collectively we have
sincere apologies, for that, technical hitch. However, we do continue with the program.
Sorry about that. Collectively, as society, we have agreed as society. That's why we came up with the law that Zambia does not allow homosexuality. Nobody was going to talk about it, not going to talk about it or bring it out. It is in the law in black and white. It's a piece of legislation that we need to follow. That's aside. We're not even supposed to talk about it because we have the law. Anyone that wants to practice homosexuality will face the law. That's all. Simple. But let's talk about our brothers who are busy stealing money from our coffers. What are we doing about them? People are dying or killing our brothers and sisters. What are we doing about it? If we are so holy and we are so clean ourselves. So, my fellow Zambians, let us live like Christ-like. Not let's not lie to people. We are Christians, I accept that fact. But what we are doing, the actions speaks differently. We are not Christians. And for us to even declare our country that is full of different religions, that's another issue that we need to talk about. It is unfair. But what can we do? We have made it a law. It is even in our constitution, in our preamble of our constitution. We just have to follow. But let us just live normal life where we have to show, if we have to live by the principles of the Bible, let us show it in your actions. We are a Christian nation, yes, but look at Imiambo, Insele. A church has spoken about the derogatory, the insults that are being showered on Facebook day in, day out, on social media day in, day out. It's so pathetic and ungodly. Why can't we criminalize that? Why can't we come up with proper laws to prevent this? Because we are losing it. What morals are we teaching our society when the so-called people who are in forefront on the pulpit, they are indulging themselves in illicit activities? They even get involved in dirty politics. Some are caught down, pants down. And we are here talking about Christian nation. Who regulates it? Who should regulate us? So,
all right. Mr. Mukelewa, I cannot continue anymore. I can see how emotional you are, even getting worse. Let's take a look at, the next story. And by then, I must take it that Mr. Mukelewa would have cooled off. And we get to react to that story also. This is my point of view now, Ubuntu channel. Let's go straight to the next story.
Mwebale start advice vakateka guys mweko kubaile vange. Mwebale start advice va president mune landa bwino guys. Asa va president wana mukati atavatu vashita tractor. Vakateka wesu ila press briefing ila. Ila press briefing boss ila. When the president addresses the people, there must be hope. As a party that promised to say, okay, things will be okay, things will be well and stuff like that, we must not come back and start telling people to say, no, they should live life like this. How? Buy a tractor over this. Getting Shima over pizza. No. That is the language that got us with PF. So when you acknowledge, boss, things are rough, then people will understand. Then you come up with a solution. But yes, we promised that milling will reduce. Yes, we promised that this and this will be okay, but things are, we have a challenge here and there, we have hiccups. But the economy will be better. No, to be silent that, no. Muvemambo kuikala ifu next lecture abantu vyakulya ifya kuikala abantu balavotolola nga mwaisamba vya boss mwamba vya kwa watu mwamba kulapela abantu ama lecture. The truth and the fact is that we made promises. We said inga waisapunda vyati bali insto muliwe. We made all the nice promises and all these things. So now it won't make sense for us to come back with lectures, start educating people on how they should live. No. We must tell them to say, yes, we have a hope. We have a hope that things will be okay. But at the moment, the economy is not doing well because of this and this and this and this and this. And we are fixing this and this and this and this. So far, we have achieved this and this and this and this and this. No. Here is what I would say, look. You can't go and tell someone who wants to have bread, who's working hard to have bread, that Kabiole Kandolo. No. The truth is that things are bad and things are rough. That's the truth. So not if you are some let pay a church, no. Mule pay a church, Kabiole Wistama tractor, Kabiole Mule Yefi, not to Kuramustra pizza, Kumus to worry. Away. People want to enjoy life. In direction we are taking as UPND is a rough direction. In direction, you have to lecture what we 2026 ikakosa. We promise to say ubunga bukabwela. We promise to say the cost of living will reduce. Twalipanga ma promises ayengi ayasuma, and people lined up to vote based on those promises. So tetimwise mubweshe futi again mwaiposela kubantu ati no. Campaign ukulaika lefi within your means. Awe. We should have told the most in opposition to say things will be rough. If intufika shupa, if intufika kosa, but we'll get there. And this thing of blaming over PF managed Tefi, that time is over. PF managed from power. PF managed Lusa, Twaliwa winning. So now people want to see what are we doing now. Fish to rate tapano mbapa. So 2023 topic here PF, we shall have 2023 topic here PF. Let's focus on how we are going to find solutions, because we can't be blaming PF this, PF that, PF that. We want to eat PF. Abatwale for kudia. Hello futi amakadas vadine nsala. So number 2026 wakakampela chana amakadas vadine nsala. My president, no getting kalam. Things are not okay. I know sometimes as a president, no, you are doing very well. Things are okay. Things are fine. No, I can take a vita we know. I want to be pa. Boss to things are rough. We must not come to justify using PF, PF, no. We are not in opposition. We are not in opposition. We are ruling. So as a ruling party, we must come up with solutions. What is the solution for mini meal? How long will it take before the mini meal prices reduce? Very good. Mwapela ma solution. How long will it take for fuel to reduce? Mwapela ma, not that no. Uyo shtechi, wikarefi, ayama lecture yo. Ayama lecture to ariyeshi, ayama lecture yo. Yana nusi chama elections, ayama lecture yo. Ayama lecture yo. When I never come back 2026, it was Chindaka Pampa Ganshi. Yeah. What if I got to a Sambo Vuka if I Turambo and Dama facts? I start with the people of Zambia. And I will start with the people of Zambia. Anytime, any given time. I will start with the people of Zambia at any given time. Humility, boss, humility. Humility is important. Which if you have to acknowledge that town, hey, if you don't have shoe, pack up, but to allow control, simple. Because the rate at which, we are becoming unpopular is very fast. It's very worrying. The rate at which we are in our politics now, I stopped politics. I'm non-partisan. If I am politics, things are rough at this moment. Rate ya dollar rate ya dollar you may be looking at people who smiling, but people are not happy. I am a lecture. CDF, they have background CDF. They have to trickle down. I want to have a pia. I want to have a broker. I want to have a Christmas. Christmas is not Christmasing. Okay. Christmas is Ikosa. Nomba murodi mwaza tukale bala matrakta la tutanta mane fuma trakta. Tukala kuza fuma trakta murodi. Tukala kuza fuma trakta murodi la tutanta ma. We. Ile passion ya ndi photograph. Ila me photograph. Ndi ashte trakta ni photograph. We. Bon sene tulamukula na matrakta. Ile te ni fama ile photograph. Kuina bambi abaresta film. So we don't come with lectures to tell people come here mule chike because in a fiari mbombela. No, just because I'm a photographer I can't start telling people to say, oh, photography has worked for me, so na kabio shitama camera. No, ngafya mushupo muntu na yena kona mina ikosa business na ikosa abantu tabakwete business. So boss bala artist wasendele bala mwali na bena bala artist batabako atale influence bansala fe bali artist. But anyway, because if it's for grand chinka, if you don't touch you, you make a very praise singer to land of your boss, you know. I take a vita we know. I want to have a self capacity tap. And after street, I want to have a self kappa. Now, a self government is provide a conducive environment, a good economy, a good, everything. Business environment is okay. Money, circulation, no more idi. People are able to do business perfect. Then people should choose. An economy should be so good that people should be able to make their own decisions without.
Okay, those are, the words that are coming from a person that was appointed by the president, and he was sent into foreign mission. And before then, he was actually the presidential photographer. And, when he was recalled from a foreign service, it's apparent that he's now speaking majorly against the government or against the president, as it were. For me, personally, I would say I do not understand him. Mr. Mkelewai, your reaction?
Thank you, Chaza. My apologies once again. It's just the death of those people in who are dying from cholera, the ones that are really making my heart really becoming so a little bit sad today. But otherwise, I'm back to myself. I've composed myself. Now, coming back to the issue, Chela Tukuta, our brother is frustrated, and we just have to accept there are certain things that he said that are very true, and the manner in which it came out and the timing itself speaks volumes. And I think even the people that he was speaking against are also probably surprised. That's why probably they gave him a cold shoulder, but misinterpreting the president's speech of buying tractors. HH did not literally say that everyone should buy her tractors. That's the problem with us Zambians. Sometimes we do misinterpret a lot of things. We draw our own conclusions, even when someone speaks something else. We liked Michael Chirifyasata because he was speaking in using Bemba idioms. But Mr. Hichilema is not Bemba, is Tonga. And Amapinda Balandira Moba Hichilema, he uses Sungu, and he uses a story that he makes comparisons. He makes some comparisons, and he brings out. He does not specifically say. If you have seen or heard what HH was trying to say, there is that it was more like giving an example of Wolungu when he bought a jet. When when the whole nation is dying, is wallowing in abject poverty, and is even borrowing money from well-wishers, and then you go flying in a very expensive jet to go and borrow money. That is what Boakainde was trying to say, that sometimes our priorities, we actually are putting we are setting our priorities in different ways or different forms, where we avoid to see things. And when he used the tractor example against the VX, he was looking at what is currently going on in the country, that we have a shortage of meal. The meal price is so expensive. And yet we have individuals that could not even have bought themselves a tractor to cultivate even at 5 acres or 2 acres or 10 acres. They have money and have the capacity, but instead they chose to go and buy a VX. And then we have people that are struggling with the price of meal. That the price of meal is too high, and the reasons for the price of the meal to be so high is because the commodity is scarce. The commodity is not available, because if there was so much maize in our country, we were going to be selling meal price at a very low price. But we don't have, because many farmers did not grow. They haven't been growing maize. They have been growing soya beans that they were advised by the previous government. And there's a lot that took place. And that's why today we have this shortage, and the prices, of course, the prices will automatically go up. So the president's speech there was simply to tell Zambians to say, look, let us go. I mean, we used to do agriculture. We have farms. People that lives in the city have villages. They come from villages. In those villages, they have farms. They have places where they can cultivate. And here we just come to do some work. And then when we are leaving our work, we go back to a farm to do farming. Now, imagine if everyone was to go back into the land and farm agriculture. Do you think we're going to have a maize deficit of maize in the country? So Chela Tukuta is a frustrated young man who is now lashing back because of the challenges he's going through. You know, he feels that he has been sidelined, even though somehow I believe this was a self-infliction wound. He actually caused this himself due to his carelessness. So we should just understand his frustrations. Otherwise, there are certain points he meant in his statements that were very true. And the president needs to be very careful, of course, with the advice he's getting. And the lecture aspect, I don't think Mr. President was lecturing the people. No, that was not a lecture, but I know, but that's one way of trying to misinterpret it. But otherwise, the president meant well. He meant well. He never had any malice like we are receiving the negative response from him. So that, to me, the president was within his right to give such examples of people to stop flashing, learn to use your resources responsibly. Do not show off, flash, shining. Learn to, if you buy, for example, a tractor on a farm, that tractor is going to help all those villagers. You can cultivate for them instead of them using ng'ombe or using manja. You can help so many people, instead of you buying a VX that you can afford, of course, and then just driving it around. Anyone, even those people who are driving Spatial, it's a car. It's moving from point A to B. Problem tikondama status, even when we come from difficult backgrounds. So sometimes it's just priorities. Let's prioritize things that are important, that will help our neighbor tomorrow, so that we can live. We are in a community that is all well off, that is doing well. I don't know how we sleep when we see others, they're spending sleepless nights, they have no food, and yet us, we are throwing food away, or flashing money and gold and everything. I mean, how can you even live? I don't know how we can manage to do that. Anyway, that's my take. Kela Tukuta is just frustrated young man who needs to stay focused on his own private issues. If he wants to attack the government, let him do so. He's a Zambian. He has a democratic right to do. That's my take.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mkelebai. We do appreciate, and we've been joined, though we are concluding, by Chibonta, CJ Chibonta Julie. CJ, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Chaza. Good evening, Mkelebai. Good evening, viewers. It's a pleasure to be on Point of View.
Beautiful. Go right ahead and give us, your take as regards, the story that we are from viewing.
Thank you very much, Chaza. Apologies, I'm not on camera. I'm not in an environment where I can switch on the camera. To get into my submissions, I'll just talk about the last clip involving Chela that was played. He does have some valid concerns. However, I feel his way of communicating those concerns, looking at the position that he had, the closeness that he had to the president, I feel it's a wrong. If you're doing something out of love, genuine concern, there's a way that you do it so that you are properly heard, unlike throwing things on social media and the way in which he was doing it. Well, for Chela Tukuta, we've seen him to be having these swings every now and then, and sometimes you fail to understand certain things that he does. In terms of the president's speech, it could have been long, but you look at the fact. The thing is that we are always looking at things through political lenses. So now you find you always want to look at the election, the 2026. But what are the facts on the ground? The president has not denied that everything is okay. Time and again, President Hichilema has been talking about the price of milling being high and interventions that they're trying to look at so that these things can be normalized. Okay, so his angle of approach to say like there's no humbleness, like the president has not admitted that certain things are not okay. On one hand, it's not a correct approach, because most of the things that he was bringing out border on the challenges that people are complaining about. Okay, you could call them lectures, but those are certain facts that we need to look at. If really Zambia needs to, progress, there are certain changes that need to be made, whether it's lifestyle, attitude changes, mindset changes. Those things have to be looked into. Though on a larger scale, probably maybe the president needs to look at how the ministries can, drill down and push these things to the ground so that people change. As citizens, we change the way we do things, the way we look at things, priorities, and all that. So, in a nutshell, I would say for him to throw that on social media, it's like, how do you address your father through social media? Okay, for me, it doesn't really make sense, because he's a person who has, and though I'm assuming he still has access to the head of state. If he needed to push something across, he knows the channels to use, he knows how he can be heard, and his concerns can be taken, unlike the channel that he used. For me, he's talking, you're addressing your father through social media, or standing outside the gate and shouting, you're talking to people, issues that you want your father to address. I feel that's not a correct platform. Though politics is politics, and we see a lot of this politicking at play everywhere, not knowing. Right now he's saying he's on the side of the people, he's non-partisan. Tomorrow you're going to hear him say, no, I'm still loyal to President HH. Politics in everything. Well, thank you. I end my submission there.
Thank you so much. And I think you have put it right, because to me, I think he's not an ordinary citizen that does not have access to State House, or access to the president, or access to the party, for him to actually go on top of the mountain and start shouting that things are not going on right. He's had even, that piece of cake. He was given that job at State House. He saved, and in no time, he was actually, sent to Foreign Service. And he has even built a house that we are seeing on social media. But he's putting it that as he was saving, in government, he was getting, so little money that, he could not even do things like he's doing right now that he's gone back to photography. We really don't know the veracity of that statement. Anyway, it leaves, so much to be desired. Led M12 is actually saying Chela must sit down and relax and be very thankful to our president. I cannot agree, less with you. That is Lady M following through YouTube. This has been my point of view. Your host, Chaza, right here on Ubuntu channel. My panel, Mr. Mukelebai, CJ Chibonta Jule, and those people following through Facebook and also YouTube. We greatly appreciate, and from us we are saying Merry Christmas and a happy, prosperous 2024. Till next time, God bless you all, and we are out of here.